Rivers can hide big things. Take warships, for example. Hey, this one even has dinosaur footprints. And the first one, well, it's got an entire town. Ancient Roman ghost town. Nearly 2,000 years after it vanished underwater, a Roman ghost village has been discovered. Before the miraculous discovery, the ancient town had been submerged beneath a reservoir on the Lima River in northwest Spain for centuries. The ruins, which date back to around 75 AD, are considered the remains of a Roman military camp known as Aquis Corjunis. According to experts, the ancient military base was built nearly 2,000 years ago in Galicia, about 530 kilometers from Madrid, at the height of the Roman Empire. The lost village, identified by drone footage taken last week, has now been seen like never before after lying untouched for centuries. According to Atlas Obscura, the base housed 600 soldiers at its peak during the Roman army's reign. The army was said to have abandoned the military base decades after it was built before the river flooded it. The massive military base included a temple, thermal baths, army barracks, and a hospital, which sat for thousands of years under the river before being exposed to severe droughts across Spain. Who knew a river could hide so much? Viking weapons. As Europe's glaciers melt due to the summer heat, archaeologists discovered Viking-era weapons in Norway. The Secrets of the Ice Glacier archaeology program set out on August 17th with their sights set on a new ice patch in the Jotunheim Mountains of Innlandet County, Norway, according to a Facebook post by the program. About 240 miles northwest of Oslo, the location was once used for reindeer hunting. Their survey of the former hunting site exposed by melting ice resulted in numerous discoveries. Researchers discovered a 1,500-year-old arrow wedged partially beneath a pile of loose stones. Shortly after, they found another arrow, complete with an iron arrowhead and shaft. According to photos, the arrow shaft had a wooden notch carved at the end to allow hunters to balance the arrow on a bow. As the search progressed, they came across something even more unusual, a three-bladed arrow. According to the co-director of Secrets of Ice, all three arrows were likely lost when hunters missed the reindeer they were after. Hey, at least it became an archaeological bullseye, so it's not too bad. Piers of Nero's Bridge. The piers of an ancient bridge over the Tiber River, once used by Roman emperors but falling into disrepair by the 3rd century, have been exposed by Italy's worst drought in 70 years. Over much of the summer, 2 piers of Nero's Bridge have been visible near the Vittorio Emanuele Bridge that crosses the river near the Vatican, a pile of moss-covered rocks where seagulls now sun themselves. According to historian Anthony Maggiolati, the bridge was built in the 1st century for Emperor Nero to reach his gardens near Janiculum Hill near St. Peter's Square. By the 3rd century, the bridge was falling apart and traffic was diverted to the nearby Sant'Angelo Bridge, which funneled pilgrims past the Castel Sant'Angelo to the Vatican. Nero's bridge was initially thought to have 4 piers, but Maggiolati claims 2 were removed in the 19th century to allow for better river traffic flow. Usually, one of the bridge piers can be seen in the driest season during normal water level years, but this year 2 are visible. Ugh, means the drought is pretty severe. Nazi warships. Falling water levels in Europe's Danube River during a recent heat wave have revealed more wrecks from a Nazi-German flotilla of warships deliberately sunk there in the final months of World War II. According to Reuters, the wrecks of about 20 warships have been discovered near the town of Prahovo in eastern Serbia, one of the 10 countries through which the Danube flows. Many of the wrecks still contain tons of unexploded ammunition, endangering local fishermen, river traffic, and wildlife, and the Serbian government intends to remove them. However, as the water level drops, the potentially explosive war wrecks pose an even greater risk than usual. According to Reuters, some have turrets, command bridges, broken masts, and twisted hulls visible above the falling water levels, while others are mostly submerged beneath sandbanks. According to local historian Velimir Trajevic, the German flotilla left behind a giant ecological disaster that threatens public security, namely those of the people of the Prahovo. It's a bit of a wonder why the Germans would choose to sink their ships, but who knows? They have been for the best. The Dolmen of Guadalaparo. A brutal summer has wreaked havoc on many people in rural Spain, but discovering a prehistoric stone circle in a dam whose waterline has receded has surprised archaeologists everywhere. The Dolmen of Guadalaparo, also known as the Spanish Stonehenge, is a circle of dozens of megalithic stones that date back to 5000 BCE. It's currently fully exposed in one quarter of the Valdecañas Reservoir in the central province of Casares. There, the water level has dropped to 28% of its capacity, according to authorities. Hugo Obermeier, a German archaeologist, discovered it in 1926, but the area was flooded in 1963 as part of a rural development project under Francisco Franco's dictatorship. Since then, it's only become evident 4 times. Dolmens are vertically stacked stones that typically support a flat boulder. Although many can be found throughout Western Europe, little is known about who built them. Human remains discovered in or near many have led to the widely held belief that they're tombs. Local historical and tourism organizations have advocated relocating the quadrupedal stones to a museum or somewhere else on dry land. Sakiku. After months of extreme drought, the remains of a 3,400-year-old city emerged from an Iraqi reservoir. Archaeologists discovered the ancient Mitanni Empire settlement when water levels dropped rapidly. It was once located on the Tigris River banks and is thought to have been in the city of Sakiku, an important center for the Mitanni Empire, which lasted from around 1550 to 1350 BC. Researchers were astounded to discover well-preserved sun-dried mud brick walls. They attribute the unusual preservation to an earthquake that destroyed the city in 1350 BC, when the upper parts of the walls collapsed, completely burying the buildings. When the city emerged from the waters due to the drought in 2018, an ancient palace was extensively documented, but there was still much more to be discovered. The archaeologists successfully mapped most of the city in just a few days and uncovered artifacts that helped paint a better picture of what life was like on the Tigris banks. Researchers hope these findings will provide important info about life in the region at the end of the Mitanni Empire. Ancient Buddhist statues. In 2020, receding water levels revealed the 3 Buddhist statues. This summer's record-high temperatures exacerbated China's troubling droughts, lowering Yangtze River water levels to historic lows. According to Vice, they also discovered ancient Buddhist relics on a previously submerged island, a welcome surprise to the locals, with some swimming to see the relics themselves. Now it's time for the day's best pick. Sucks losing a pet, but the suspect this round isn't a human. In fact, it doesn't frequent the area much at all. Otter. Be cautious, pond owners, because there's a new visitor in the area. An uninvited visitor, believed to be an otter, showed up at Paul Day's pond in Martlesham for 5 nights and devoured most of his fish. He covered the pond with a net after realizing he would lose his entire stock of koi carp if he didn't act. But the crafty creature wasn't about to miss out on a meal, so he helped himself to several goldfish in another garden pond nearby that night. That made Mr. Day feel bad because he already lost several pets. Mr. Day has owned the pond for 3 years and has lost approximately 8 koi carp and 2 golden orth. He claims it came from the River Deben, and there's also a long stream behind his house. Though such behavior could be attributed to minks, Penny Hemphill, Suffolk Wildlife Trust Water for Wildlife Officer, believes it's an otter due to how the fish was consumed. This incident is surprising as it's generally unusual for otters to be around that stretch of Ipswich. World War II bomb. Heat waves sweeping Europe this summer have brought more than record-high temperatures and scorched fields. The drought-stricken waters of Italy's River Po are so low that a previously submerged World War II bomb has been discovered. Military experts defused and detonated the 450-kilogram bomb discovered on July 25th near the northern village of Borgo Vergiolo, close to Mantua. The task of removing the bomb wasn't easy, though. According to the Army, approximately 3,000 people living nearby were evacuated for the disposal operation. The area's airspace was closed, as was navigation along that stretch of the waterway, and traffic on a nearby railway line and Stay Road. In the beginning, residents refused to move. However, they changed their minds the days leading up to the defusal, said Francesco Apporti, the local mayor. He added that it did take a lot of persuasion to get them to agree, though. According to the Army, the fuse was removed from the U.S.-made device containing 240 kilograms of explosives. Police then escorted the bomb squad to a quarry in Medal Municipality, about 45 kilometers away, where it was destroyed. Texas dinosaur tracks. The discovery of 113-million-year-old dinosaur tracks in Dinosaur Valley State Park in Texas has been made possible by a severe drought. According to BBC News, the prints are usually covered by the Paluxy River, and the last time they were visible was in the year 2000. The river dried up entirely in most places, allowing more tracks to be discovered in the park, according to a statement from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. Most of the tracks belong to the carnivorous Archocanthosaurus, which lived in the early Cretaceous period. This was about 115 to 105 million years ago. These dinosaurs walked on 2 legs, had 3 toes on each foot, each with a claw, and they could weigh up to 7 tons and stand up to 15 feet tall. According to Park Superintendent Jeff Davis, the newly discovered tracks are known as the Lone Ranger Trackway, and they consist of approximately 140 tracks from one individual. 60 of these tracks were visible when the river water disappeared. Other tracks were left by Sauroposeidon, a 60-foot tall dinosaur weighing 44 tons. See you all next time!